And welcome to the AllBrands show. I'm Barbara from AllBrands.com, a family-owned and operated sewing, embroidery, quilting, anything with a needle and bobbin business. And we have our weekly live show, the AllBrands show, at 3:30 on Thursdays. And today I'm so excited. One of my favorite people in the world we're going to have as a guest today. It's Reen Wilcoxson from Embroidery Garden. She's actually the founder of Embroidery Garden. If you haven't heard of them yet, I'm surprised, but go ahead and check her out. She makes amazing designs, and anything that you see in this video that you like, there's a link in the description that you can click and shop, and we'll have some specials on them that we'll tell you about a little bit later. So today we're going to be talking about the hand sketch floral borders and designs collection, her hoop and press pads, and we're going to be doing a project on the XP3 Luminaire. So I have two giveaways that I'm so excited. One of them we're going to be giving away during the live. So all you have to do is comment #AllBrands if you're watching live, and you will be eligible to win a $25 AllBrands.com e-gift card. The next thing that we have is this. This is our big giveaway for the summer. So we're collecting entries now. This is a huge giveaway from Designs and Machine Embroidery. There's tons of things in here: pressing pads, weightless quilter, PAL 3, all sorts of embroidery goodies, amazing things, stabilizer, the compass. So to be eligible for that, there's a link in the description of this video that you can click to register. So good luck. We'll announce the winner in August there. So without further ado, I think I'm going to bring in our wonderful woman of the hour. So happy to have her, Reen Wilcoxson, founder of Embroidery Garden. Hello.
I'm so excited to be here with you.
Oh my gosh, me too. And everyone in the comments is loving it as well. Can't wait to see what you have created for all of us.
Well, we've got a lot to talk about today. I'm going to be talking about the two new hand sketch floral collections I have out with Dime. I'm going to be demoing a new in the hoop purse I've done, and I'm going to be showing you my hoop and press pads in action while I'm showing you how to construct the purse.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So we're going to have a special. Should we tell them about it now or later?
Let's tell them about it now and again later. You want to go or you want me to?
Yeah. Yeah. So if you purchase either one of these collections or the hoop and press pad that's in the link in the description of this video from allbrands.com, then Reen is going to include the pattern for the in the hoop purse, which is so precious. I love it.
Thanks.
But you'll have to hurry because this offer expires on April 21st. That's next Friday, 2023. So to take advantage of that, just check out on allbrands.com any of those 3 items, and you'll get that download emailed to you.
That's right.
Thank you. That's great. I love deals and specials. And
oh yeah, it's really nice to get a little extra something.
Yeah. Well, let's get started. I know that we have a lot to show today, and I'm really excited to see
it. Sounds good.
Okay.
Okay, so this is my Monroe purse. This is what I'm calling it. It is for a 6x10 hoop. It's going to be made in 2 parts just because of the flap. The flap is quilted. It's got a little bit of quilting. It is an open top bag, meaning there's no zipper at the top. Of course, it's fully lined, no raw edges inside. It does have a zippered pocket here on the front that is also fully lined with no raw edges inside. And on the front of it, I'm going to stitch one of the flowers. I've edited it from the hand sketched floral collection. The flower is not going to be included in the download. It is a blank bag, so you can add anything you want to the bag. So we're going to go ahead, and what I want to do first is kind of before I get into the actual making of the bag is talk about the two different collections. Let me go ahead and change my camera. And let's look at real quickly. I'm just going to go through some of the samples I have. So the hand sketch floral set is a set of 25 floral designs that have a hand sketched look to them. And what does the hand sketch look mean? Well, as you can see on these background areas, it's very light and airy. The outline that goes around, like the flowers, you notice that it does not hit directly on the edge of the flower. It's not supposed to. These have a hand-sketched look to them. The set also includes 25 floral designs. They fit a 5x7 hoop, and the SVG files are included. So if you want to, you can use your cutting machine to cut the applique pieces for the flowers, and some of the designs have SVGs for the leaves. You can cut those from a fabric. I'm going to show you some samples that I've done using HTV, which is heat transfer vinyl, and even some cork appliques that I've done. So let's just quickly again look at some of these different designs that are included. This one is cork. The purse is cork, but the appliques are cork. So I just cut them with my ScanNCut and use them for the designs. Now, you don't have to have a cutting machine to do this. You can do it the traditional way with the placement stitch, put your fabric down, let it tack it down, then trim around it. But it's always handy to have those SVGs. So here's another one. And again, all of these are included in the download. Here's one. So again, I just kind of wanted to quickly go through them because they are they're just really pretty. Here's another one. I kind of got into making some towels and things with some of the designs. This is just a little case, but it shows in a flower. Aren't these just gorgeous? So this is the hand-sketched floral set with the 25 floral designs. And you can see you could do so many things with these designs. Here I put one on a purse, and this one I cut it out of, this was flock from Caesar, and I used it for the flowers. This is something where I took a lot of the designs, actually 2 of them. This design here, I mirrored it and then mirrored it again and flipped it over and put one of the other designs here in the center to create kind of a mat. Again, I did these in vinyl. This also has King Star metallic thread on it. Isn't that pretty? Let's see, here's another design, it's that same one stitched. Here are a few more. And what I want to show you too is let me grab it here. I did this pillow with HTV, glitter HTV. Isn't that just gorgeous? So it's kind of like a travel pillow size, but again, and this design, I enlarged it, which you can do with any of these files because you get not only the format that you want, but you also get the C2S file, which is a native dime file where you can edit the file any way that you want. You can resize it in the free software and it will stitch perfectly. One more thing that I want to show you is a jacket that I'm working on. And let me see if I can get it underneath here. So this is a jean jacket. Again, I've used the HTV material. Put a little saying on here, bloom where you are planted. And you can see how large I enlarged this design from a 5x7. It's filling up the jacket back here. And then you see my planted. You see my camera's kind of jumping a little. It's probably all this stuff shining on it. The front of the jacket has another flower. I even took this same flower I edited it and I removed the leaf and I sized it down from this big down to this is about a little over an inch. And I put them in between the buttons. I also used some of the designs from the floral border set, which I'm going to go over next here really quickly because these two sets coordinate. So there is the floral set with the 25 designs, and there is the floral border set, which coordinates with it. And there are over 200 designs in the border set. This, I just stitched on, this is like balsa wood. I made little coasters, got felt on the back. But the floral border set has little corner designs that perfectly match the floral set. It has border designs, which on this bottom of this towel, I just kind of lined up, a bunch of them. This is from the floral collection, but so you can see how perfectly it matches. The border set matches it. I just wanted the borders. I kind of spun it around in a spiral to create a cute little, what I call a snowflake. This is just real quick, just to show you what these sets look like. And one more thing with the border set, you get, there are 25 large frames. Now there is no font included. This is a built-in font out of some software that I have. But you can see this beautiful frame. If you don't have a hoop that's 10.5 by 10.5 to stitch this, you get the files broken up into small sections so you can recreate this yourself. But the designs are absolutely beautiful. And again, the two sets coordinate. So now that I've kind of talked about that, are there any questions about the design sets, Barbara, before we get into the actual purse?
First of all, I think I fainted in my chair. Those are the most beautiful designs I've ever seen in my life. I'm rarely floored like this.
They are really, really gorgeous designs and really versatile too, because, I showed fabric for the appliques. I showed cork used, for the appliques. I showed that HTB. So the set is very, very versatile. Then you throw in the border set that coordinates, and you can just create all kinds of things.
I'm feeling emotion right now. You are so incredibly talented of an artist. I'm so inspired by the samples that we saw. It's beautiful. Oh my gosh. And everyone's commenting that in the comments. Someone was asking me, which is the hoop in the design hoop bag that you used for the original sample?
Oh, for the ones the bags that were made out of cork, those were my Anna Lee purse set.
Okay.
The one that I'm showing today is the Monroe bag. So those were the two purses I showed.
So they'll get the Monroe bag if they purchase from AllBrands.
The Monroe bag, the one that I showed, and excuse me, I threw it on the floor here. Let me pick it up.
Live shows are so fun because things just go flying.
This is the one that if you purchase either design set, the hand sketched floral set or the hand sketched floral border set, or any hoop and press pad from allbrands.com, you got to purchase it from their website. You will get this design file. It does not, again, it's a blank file. It does not include the flower, and it's for a 6x10 hoop.
Oh my gosh. Well, we're getting questions, but nothing pertaining to specifically what you talked about yet. So I'll save those to the end.
Okay.
But if you guys have any questions, please ask them in the comment section, and we'll answer them live.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started on stitching the actual bag. So let me change my camera again. And so I've got my little kit cut out. And like I said, it's done in two hoopings because of the flap. So when to start the design, and I've already done this part just to save us a little bit of time here, you stitch the flap. And all you really do is lay down, hoop your stabilizer, lay down a piece of batting, lay fabric right side up on top of that batting. It's going to stitch this top stitch here that goes around. It's going to do the stipple quilting. And then you're going to take your second piece of fabric, lay it right side down on top, and then it's going to stitch your little flap together. After your flap is done, you take it out of the hoop, you're going to trim around it, and then you just turn it to the right side. And the instructions give you all the measurements that you need. And you're going to have two pieces of fabric. And if you want little tabs, it's your choice whether you want to add a strap. If you add a strap, you're going to need little tabs with hardware on it to attach your strap. So basically, all I did, and let me just kind of fold this the opposite way, was I laid down one of my rectangles of fabric. I laid down it'd probably be better if I turn it this way. I centered my flap on this big piece of fabric here, and I centered my tabs on top of the flap. I took the next piece of fabric, I laid it right side down on top. Then I took my sewing machine, you do have to sew this part, and I stitched a 5/8 inch seam, and I stitched it all together. That's the only sewing you have to do, machine sewing on this, is to stitch. It's about an 8-inch seam. Then you just take it and fold those wrong sides together. And we have our piece that's going to end up making our flap that comes over the front of the purse. And this is going to end up being the back of the purse and the inside back of the purse. So I just wanted to have that done before we got started. So the pieces that you're going to need, you really only need two fabrics. I have my main fabric, and then this piece, the solid piece, is going to be the lining for that zipper pocket. And I have two pieces of that. I have some batting, and of course I have a zipper. So to start the design, I've already gone ahead and I stitched the zipper placement. I'm hooping the poly mesh cutaway type stabilizer. And all I did was stitch the first step, which is the placement line for the zipper. You're going to take your zipper, lay it right side up, and center it in that placement line. One thing I like to do, might be a little tip for you, is I take my placement and I work on a mat, my cutting mat all the time, and I just kind of line it up with the lines on my mat. Kind of helps me a little bit. And then I just, again, put my zipper down, centered in that placement, and I'm going to tape it in place. I've got a piece of tape here to hold this end down. And again, I want to check to make sure it's centered. Whoops. And I'm going to tape it at the other end here. I am going to take a little piece of tape, and I like to keep this zipper pull under control. So I'm just going to kind of move it off to the side here and just kind of tape it really to the end of the hoop. I just don't want it flopping around when I'm taking it off and on the machine, because you don't want that metal pull to get anywhere into the sewing field.
Oh, hey, Reen.
Yeah.
Kelly Smith asks, is that a metal zipper?
No. You would never, ever use a metal zipper. This is, pardon me?
Oh, I said great question for Kelly.
It is, because it does look metal. Let me hold it up a little bit. See the shine on it? It's what they call a faux metal zipper. This is a polyester zipper. You can perfectly sew over it, embroider over it with no issue, but you would, yes, never, ever, ever use a metal zipper in the hoop project. I don't even use some invisible zippers. I just use either number 3 or number 5 polyester or, nylon coil zippers. They're kind of neat. They are really cool, Kelly. I really like that look. This is usually like zipper by the yard, which is where what I use now anymore. I just use zipper by the yard. So the next step we're going to do, it's going to stitch my zipper in place so I don't have to worry about it moving or shifting. So we're going to go over to the machine. I'm going to get my hoop put on. And it's going to stitch that zipper down along both edges of the zipper tape. I see Jones asking where I get the skin. Oh, my bad. I left my hoop and press pad over there.
Oh, I'm glad I'm not the only one that does things like that all the time.
All right, so let me just cut my thread. I want to just make sure everything's okay. I don't think it did anything. I think it just made a noise. Yeah, I think it just made a little noise there.
I would suggest just turning the machine off and on and re-pulling up the design.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to have to do.
Okay, so it says the recalibration of the, that's a good lesson.
Yes. So yeah, I am going to have to turn it off and back on again, because when it hit that press pad, it wouldn't let it move over. So that was the problem.
So someone asked in the comments, where do they buy those zippers by the yard? I know some of our stores carry that, and I'll go ahead and put our store locations on the screen here. Just give us a call. The phone numbers are below each location, and just check inventory before you stop by. But I do know that that's a very popular item right now.
Yeah, and this one does use number 3s. They do come in 3 and 3 and 5. Okay, I got my design brought back up. Let me do that second step. Let's get the machine over there. There we go. Just about everything is fixable when you make a mistake.
Oh, yeah.
But I love my XP3. Just absolutely love it.
How wide of a zipper are you using for this?
Well, a number 3 is basically about a 1-inch wide zipper. Number 5s are typically about 1 1/4 inch wide. And the teeth are bigger. That's really the difference in the two, besides that little bit of extra width, the teeth are wider. All right, so this step is done. And now we're going to use the hoop and press pad. So if you're kind of wondering what is a hoop and press pad, they are these wool pads that I designed, that I basically invented, and Dime manufactures them for me. And what you do is you use them when you're doing in the hoop designs, as you're going to see, but they do have other uses. But they come in standard sizes. This is the 6x10 because my design is being stitched in a 6x10 hoop, so I'm using the 6x10 pad. There are also 5x7, 8x8, might be a little bit better if I went the other way with this, and 8x12. So 8x12, 8x8, 5x7, and here's my 6x10. You can buy these individually or in a bundle. So there are 2 different ways to buy them. There are also hoop and press pads for multi-needle machines. And the multi-needle includes 5x7, 8x8, and 8x12. Even though a multi-needle machine is 8x14, that extra difference of 1 inch on each end doesn't really warrant having, an 8x14 pad in it. As you can see on these multi-needle pads, the shape is a bit different because of the shape of the multi-needle hoops. Also, there are hoop and press pads for oval hoops. Basically, that's Bernina. I think Bernina is the only one that has oval-shaped hoops. But the webpage on AllBrands will tell you how to measure your hoop to determine what size pads that you need. Basically, the standard pads our Brother Baby Lock, basically. So let's watch and see how a hoop and press pad works. Okay, so as I said, you can use these pads when you are doing in the hoop designs. And what it does, it gives you support because, you know, a lot of times when you work on in the hoop designs, you need to work on the back side of the hoop, which is what I'm going to be doing in just a minute here. The first or the next step, I have to go to the back side. But hoop and press pads are also great for when you have to tape, when you need to press. I'll be doing all these things, taping and pressing. You know, you're going to fold fabric. Sometimes you have to trim fabric. You manipulate fabrics and in the hoop designs. And the hoop and press pad gives you support under your hoop so you can do all these things. It's also great for pressing appliques because you should press appliques from the back side. And it's great for removing stitches because it gives you the support you need. So my next step is to take my hoop and place it upside down over the hoop and press pad. So now with the pad underneath here, I have support. So when I go to take my next piece of fabric, and it's going to be, the short edge is going to be placed along the bottom edge of the zipper. Let me just get it in place here. Now when I go to tape, and I'm going to be taping this on both sides, you can see that I can press down really hard on my tape to get it to adhere well. Everyone uses different type of tape out there. And, you know, most any tape works for in the hoop designs, but you have to be able to press it down really well. If you want to know where I got the skinny tape, it's not skinny tape. It's 1 inch wide tape. I use Transport medical tape. It's a 3M product. What I like about it is it holds very well. It's perforated. So I take it and I tear it into smaller strips. I think it comes in 1/2 inch wide, but I like to use the least amount of tape as possible. So I just tear it into smaller strips. Again, with that pad underneath, the hoop and press pad, I can press that tape down well so that I know my fabric is adhered very well. The next step is to go to the front side, and I can even just leave the hoop and press pad underneath there. And the next step is to take my next piece of fabric. And again, the instructions are going to tell you how big you need to cut every piece. And it's going to go right side down along this bottom edge of the zipper. So let me get it in place. And again, I'm going to tape it down. And then our next step is going to stitch those two fabrics to the edge of the zipper. So let me just go ahead and go over to the machine, get the hoop on, and go ahead and stitch that step down. So how many of you love to do in the hoop designs? I mean, aren't they like so fun?
Very fun. Very much so.
It's amazing what you can do. So this piece is stitched down. So I'm just going to remove the tape. I'm going to keep it because I can reuse that tape. I'm going to take a piece of batting and I'm going to lay one of the edges, even with the seam that I just stitched. Make sure everything is nice and flat. And I'm going to take this piece of fabric now and pull it down over the batting. We've got my iron here. And I'm going to press. I got that hoop and press pad underneath, so it's protecting my cutting mat. And what I like to do is, since I'm going to be stitching a design here, is I like to pin. I know you can't see this. Let me get the pin in here, and then I'll show you. All I do is pin the fabric instead of taping it. I just pinned it down. The next step is going to stitch a line here, and then I'm going to get into the flower. Let me go ahead and switch over to the machine. And then we will get into the flower.
Oh, Reen, I love in the hoop designs. So for those folks who are just coming in, just remind us when they purchase the special design set that we're talking about today, the floral borders.
There is the floral collection,
Mhm.
and then there is the floral border collection, which coordinates with the floral set. So there are two design sets. One is the hand sketch florals, and the other one is the hand sketch floral borders. So if you buy either one of those sets from allbrands.com or any of the hoop and press pads, because they sell those on their website, you will get this design emailed to you. Again, it's for a 6x10 hoop, and the flower design is not on it. I'm just adding it to that. What's great about the bag is you can add any design you want to it.
There you go. Well, let's see if we have any questions so far. Okay, so regarding the hoop and press pads, are you ever going to make that in a 4x4 size, you think?
Probably not, only because it's just so small. I mean, I can talk with, my friends at Dime about it, but more than likely, I don't think we're going to be doing a 4x4 size.
Okay. Also, remind us which stabilizer you are using for this.
So I'm using, it's like a poly mesh, a no-show cutaway. I'm sure you guys carry that at your store and online.
Yeah.
It's basically the stabilizer I use probably the most, and I use it for all of my bag designs.
Mm-hmm.
So all I'm doing right now is I just went ahead, the flower is starting to stitch, and the first part of that flower is going to be a leaf. So I went ahead and changed my thread. I'll have to, do a few thread changes here. But again, on that, the floral collection, you do get the SVG files. So while this flower is going to be stitching, like I said, I'm going to have to change the thread a few times. I'm going to show you how I cut fabric on my ScanNCut. So while it's going here, let me just kind of switch the camera a little bit and let me grab.
Ooh, I love the ScanNCut. Can I do a shameless plug for my sister-in-law? Courtney Douthit. She has a new show called AllBrands After Hours. I hope you guys are subscribed to our channel so that you see her videos every weekend. She comes out and it's all on ScanNCut. She's an excellent teacher. So if you want to learn more about how to use ScanNCut or are interested in getting into cutting appliques, definitely check out our YouTube channel for that.
Yeah, Courtney has some great videos. I've seen them.
He's awesome.
Goes over a lot of things, I'm not really going to get into, a lot of it. Like I've already got my design loaded on and everything. I'm just going to let you see fabric being cut basically. But for me, the game changer is the rotary blade. That's basically a must have, if you're cutting fabric. I don't use it if I'm cutting vinyl. I use my regular blade, but if you're going to cut fabric, you really need the rotary blade. And let's see if you can see that. Yeah, see that little rotary blade? Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So let me go ahead and change the camera. And I'm just going to pull my ScanNCut just a little bit down here. Again, this is not a ScanNCut video, so I'm not going to, show you, loading the design or anything. But I've got my mat here, grab it. And how I do fabric, I'm just going to use the standard mat. Okay, that's just my go-to. Pull off my dust cover sheet. And for these designs, I have just, chosen a piece of fabric. I iron like heat and bond light or something to the back side. I'm going to place it down on my mat. One thing, that's kind of important, personally, this is my preference only, just my personal preference. I cut fusible side down. Okay, that's my personal preference. So when I cut with the fusible side down, I do not have to mirror image my design. If I cut with the fusible side up, you would need to mirror image your cut file. But I prefer to cut with it fusible side down. That's just me. I'm just changing my thread here on the machine. All it's doing is just an outline stitch around that leaf that it did. So I've got my fabric fusible side down. I'm a taper. So I'm just using like this washi tape you can get at the dollar store. But I like to tape because I would rather tape than, than be sorry later on. So I just always tape.
Hey, Reen.
Yeah.
Let's see. Maggie Sue asked, do you leave the paper on the back of the applique backing?
Mine is on the back. Let me see. I can pull up this corner here. There is my fusible, my heat and bond light on the back side. That's my personal preference of how to, cut fabric. Everyone does it a different way. You could even use the fabric mat. I prefer to use the standard mat. I'm just going to go ahead and load my mat in.
So if you use the fabric mat, always put fabric side down.
Yes, and ask me how I learned that.
You don't want to pull paper off of a fabric mat. It's not the best time.
Right. Okay, so you can see it loaded, and I've got the fabric with my fusible down. My design is loaded. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to tell it to cut. I'm not even going to do a test cut. You would want to do a test cut. And I've got to stick the USB in after I took it on my machine because of that little error I had there in the beginning when I, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah. So Judy just commented.
My rotary blade in. Pardon me?
Oh, I love that. Everybody's commenting. They love that blade. Judy says, fusible side down has saved me so many times since I forgot to mirror image. Very true, Judy.
Yes. You don't have to remember to mirror image if you cut it fusible side down. So then the only time I have to mirror image is if I'm using HTV. When I did the cork appliques, that is, I just put the cork down, the right side of the cork is up, and I just put the cork down and cut. Think of it this way. The fusible is down, and all I'm doing is cutting. I'm going to lift it up, take it to my placement, and set it down. Same thing with the cork. If you're using HTV, which is cut, the other way, the fusible is on the top, then you're going to cut it. Then you have to take it, flip it over to put it into your placement line. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to cut. It says it's got 3 minutes to cut. You're going to notice that when it starts to cut the rotary blade, it's going to cut, it's going to jump kind of back a little bit, then come back. What it's doing is it's adjusting that rotary blade. It's like turning a little bit so it can cut the curves, around the curves of the flower. So while it's doing that, let me just show you how the flower is coming along. First, it stitched the green of the stem, that did the black outline. I'm not really using black. I'm kind of using a dark charcoal color because I kind of like that better than a really harsh black. There are times though that I do use black just because that's the look I'm going for. You can see that I did go ahead and I stitched the placement for the flower. And when it's done cutting, we're going to put it right there. One thing too with this set, you don't have to do anything to the SVGs. You don't have to enlarge them. You don't have to do anything. You just load them and cut them and they fit to the placement guides perfectly.
Oh my gosh, Reen, so good. Did you want to answer some questions?
Sure.
Okay. Let's see. Anne asked, do you ever use Mylar on your designs? On these designs, could you use Mylar?
On these designs, no, they're not designed for Mylar. If I can grab one really quick right here. To do Mylar, you have to have, loose stitching over the top. This has nothing over the top. So you really can't use Mylar for these type of designs. For my flower, which is another collection of mine, these lace flowers, this one does have Mylar in it. I don't know if you can see it or not. Let me kind of.
It's beautiful.
Maybe
I love
your flower a little bit. But to do that is, when you stitch freestanding lace, you use water-soluble stabilizer. Just lay a piece of Mylar down on top of the stabilizer. I like to tape it in place and stitch your freestanding lace design. And, that's really simple to do.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. Kelly asks, has the fabric ever separated from the paper backing on the applique while cutting, or do you remove paper before cutting?
I haven't had mine ever come off while cutting.
You did tape it down though, which secures it pretty well.
It's done cutting, so we're going to pull it off here. But yeah, I do tape my fabric down and I leave the fusible on. That's just me. That's how I prefer to do it. Some other people, may not do it that way. It's just kind of what I do, what works for me. So it's done cutting. So moment of truth. Let's see how it did. I'm just going to move my ScanNCut back a little bit out of the way. Let me grab my spatula because I like to take things off of the mat using the spatula. And let's see how it did. Usually I save this tape. I'm not going to save it today. Oops. Let me get underneath here. And look at how nice. Look.
Magic. There's no way I would cut that with scissors.
No, not at all. And let me just get it up off the mat here. So here it is. And here's my fusible on the back. I kind of scrunched it up when I was using my spatula to get it up. But you can see how beautifully it cut.
It's beautiful. I love the ScanNCut. It's such a game changer.
It is. And that rotary blade. Got to have that rotary blade. So let me take the flower. Let me get rid of my mat. And let me get my hoop back over here. Okay, so I did cut the, I did stitch the flower placement. I'm going to put my hoop and press pad underneath here. I'm going to peel the paper off the back side. And I'm going to go ahead and lay this down. And let's see, I might have to turn it one little turn. There we go. And look how, I don't know if you can see that. Do you see how it's just perfectly in that placement line? And I'm just going to use my little iron. And all I'm doing is just kind of pressing it, not ironing it. So all I did was kind of tack that down in place. What I like to do is use my hoop and press pad, take my hoop, turn it over, and I'm going to press my applique from the back side. The reason that it's nice to press your applique from the back side, if you think about it, the fusible is facing up And if I press from the back side, it's like it's drawing the fusible up into that base fabric, into the front of the purse fabric. So with that hoop and press pad underneath there, you can certainly press your applique. Let's see, this has to stay up. I got to finish doing this flower. Next step is going to stitch around the flower very close to the edge and to tack it down. It's going to do a triple stitch. And let's just give you a look at how it's going to start here. So again, these designs are raw edge applique. They're not going to have a satin stitch going around them. They are being tacked down close to the edge, and it's going to go around it like 3 times, I think, 2 or 3 times.
Wow, this hand sketch floral borders and designs collections turn out so adorably cute, beautiful. I'm just blown away by your artistry.
They are, and then the like I said, those SVG files are sized perfectly. You don't have to do anything to them. Just load them on your ScanNCut and stitch them out or cut them out. Right, so it's done that, and I'm going to go ahead and hit. I'm going to use the same color, and what it's going to do is there's some little detail work on the inside of the flower. It just kind of adds a little bit of, extra stitching there to kind of give the flowers a little bit more detail.
It's so easy, Reen. Wow.
It is, and then, really there aren't that many more steps actually to the bag. So we'll have a purse before you know it.
Well, Marcia's watching. She says, I have that collection. I absolutely love it. So yeah, definitely. This is the one to get right now for sure.
And then with the floral border set, that coordinating set, you get over 200 designs in that set. After it does the, it's got the corners, it's got the borders, and then it breaks it down even into single leaves and flowers so that you can group things however you want. You can, create any type of a design that you want. So it really is a very versatile set.
Yeah. So Carol asks if you're purchasing the floral designs, are they shipped or downloaded?
So they are downloadable. It's kind of a, a digital delivery type of download. You're going to receive a serial number, and you're going to be able to download the files, pick any format that you want. You are going to get those C2S files that I talked about, which are the native format of dime, so that you can easily take these files and resize them like I showed you on that with pillow. I had taken the 5x7 design, and that one I had enlarged it to, it was a little over 8x8, and it stitched perfectly.
Wow. Let's talk a little bit about sizing. So I know a lot of your designs are available in multiple sizes. You have the XP3 Luminaire that does the 10 and 5/8 by 16 inch embroidery area, very large. But for those folks that are, not to that hoop size yet, what hoop size do these designs require?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear Barbara.
What hoop sizes are available in the design packs?
So for those floral collections?
Yes.
So they all fit, the floral set fits a 5x7 hoop. If you wanted to take one of those flowers and enlarge it to a 10.5 by 10.5, you certainly could, and it would stitch perfectly with that C2S file. The jean jacket I showed, that one, went from 5x7. Oh, I don't know if it was quite 10 by 10, but it was at least 9 by 9. So yeah, you can enlarge them. The other pillow that I showed that had the border around it with the initial in the middle of it, and the border set, they include the complete frames in a 10.5 by 10.5, But if you have a smaller hoop, you can take your, 5x7 or even a 4x4, take in more hoopies, but you could recreate that if you didn't have that large of a hoop.
I love it. I love it. Is that a hoop below you or what?
Are there any other questions before we move on?
Yeah. Okay, so let me go through the questions. Kelly asks, do the border designs have registration marks to help line them up?
No, but again, Dime has a free software called Embroidery Toolshed, which is an editing software. And when you print, because you can print templates from it, you can tell it when you print to print registration marks, and it will. So you go into the software, create your design how you wanted it to be, break it up into the smaller parts, and you could add registration marks.
Very cool. All right, Jill is admiring the quilt behind you. It's very pretty.
The quilt behind me it's called the Glimmer, and it's from Jaybird Quilts. And I used, I can't remember the name of the fabric. It's called Confetti Dot. You might carry that, Barbara. But anyway, it's the Glimmer pattern, and my friend Molly quilted it for me on her long arm.
Oh, she's so great. Here's one from Veronica about the ScanNCut mat. She says, your mat is so clean. How do you keep it so clean?
I clean my mat basically after every time I use it. And, basically I use, baby wipes, non-alcohol baby wipes, and I just wipe it down. I keep it clean. I keep that, little plastic dust cover over the top of it.
Yeah.
And my mats, for me, stay sticky and clean. So
there you go. Kelly asks, so if you buy the flower set from AllBrands and you get the purse file free, #AllBrands.
Yes. It's a 6x10 file, and it will be emailed to you once you place your order with AllBrands. You got to give me a little bit of time because I got to get, your email address and get it sent to you. If you had an account on embroiderygarden.com, I could pop it into your account even for you, but you have to purchase either of the hand sketch floral sets or a hoop and press pad, any one of them or any bundle of them from AllBrands before next Friday, and you'll get the first file.
Wonderful. Oh my gosh, that's a great deal. And just a little extra, and because someone asked in the comments, is there a coupon code that can accompany this purchase from allbrands.com? I'll give you guys a little secret. I'm just going to drop this here. We have coupons all the time on our promotions page. So there's a black bar on the top of our website that says current specials and promotions. If you click that and scroll all the way down to the bottom, you will find coupons there to use on your purchase. So you just heard it, not from me, but they're there for you. So please take advantage of that.
And you have really good shipping too?
Oh yeah. So we ship all over the world, and very fast. So yep, we do. Oh, it's also free shipping on your designs too. Thank you. I was like, where should go with that?
Okay, so if we're ready to move on with the design, let me get my camera switched over again. And you can see the flower is done. Again, I did some editing on this flower just so it would stitch out a little bit quicker. Our next step is to go to the back side. So if I'm going to work on the back side, I'm going to use my hoop and press pad. So this is how it looks on the back side at this time. I know I can't get this whole 6x10 hoop shown, but you get the idea. Now we have to turn this lining fabric over. Remember, this is the lining for the zippered pocket. I'm taking the tape off because I don't need it on because this has been stitched on. I'm going to fold this down. I'm going to take my iron and I'm going to press. And what this pressing does when you have to fold fabric over on the back side, look what a nice crisp seam I get here. I don't have what I kind of refer to as the bubble. And the bubble is, you would take the fabric, fold it over, you're going to put a piece of tape down, but invariably you get that little bubble there. Being able to press it with the hoop and press pad underneath there makes it nice and flat and lets your lining lay beautifully. I'm going to go ahead and tape it down here at the bottom. My hoop and press pad's underneath there so I can really get that tape down well. I'm going to take the second piece of lining fabric for my pocket. I'm going to place the edge even with the top edge of the zipper. I'm going to tape it down. Again, that hoop and press pad is letting me really press down on that tape to get it to stick really well. Now it's time to go to the front side of the hoop. And I'm going to take my next piece of fabric and grab it here. And this piece is going to go right side down, and the other edge is going up here along the edge of the zipper. I got some tape here. I don't really need this on that zipper anymore because remember we stitched it down. So we just use my same tape again. And I can do the same thing over here. Get a lot of use out of this tape. So now with the piece on the back and the piece on the front, I'm going to go ahead and stitch the next step, which will stitch these two fabrics to the edge of the zipper.
At this point, do you need to open the zipper, or is
Not
that
yet. Not yet.
Okay.
And I'm going to go ahead. I just left that dark color thread in there. As soon as this is done, I will go back to my other color that I was using that matches my fabric. And then I'm just going to grab this thread out of here. I cut it at the top, so I'm just going to pull it out. And while I'm here, I might as well get thread up with the next color for the next step. I'll use the same color thread to finish the entire design. So I'm going to take it off the hoop or off the machine again. And our next step now is to, let me get this tape off because it's already stitched down, so it doesn't need to be taped down anymore. I'm going to take a piece of batting and I'm going to place it with one of the long edges, even with that seam that just stitched. I'm going to take the fabric and fold it up. I am going to use my little iron again. Ironing when you're doing in the hoop designs, pressing while you're in the hoop is what is going to give your designs a really nice, beautiful finish. I'm just going to put a pin up here to hold that in place. The next step is just going to stitch a line here, just like it did there. That kind of holds the all the fabric in place, and that batting piece that's underneath there holds it down too. And it adds a little, kind of a decorative element onto the front. I see Julie is asking a question. This is the Monroe bag. I'm calling it Monroe. It's kind of hard to keep coming up with names for purses after all the purses that I've designed, but I just decided to call it the Monroe bag. All right, so we're ready to take it off the machine again. Doing in the hoop designs, you do a lot of taking the hoop off the machine. And now our next step is to go to the back side of the hoop. So anytime I'm going to the back, I'm using my hoop and press pad. I'm going to put the pad underneath the hoop. Make sure it's sitting on there well. Take this tape off because this piece is stitched down. And now what I need to do is lift this fabric up, and underneath here is my zipper. Underneath the stabilizer is the zipper. So I'm just going to use a pair of small scissors. These are little Kai scissors. I actually think I bought these at AllBrands one year that I was there doing events. And I'm just going underneath that stabilizer And all I'm cutting is the stabilizer. I'm not cutting into my zipper or anything. And we're cutting this out so that we have access into that zippered pocket when our purse is finished. I saw someone ask about using a folding pin, like to hold the fabric down. Nothing works better than pressing it with an iron. That's how you're going to get something very nice and very flat. This right now is the most important step of the entire design. If any of you get this design and you mess up, this is where you're going to mess up. So I folded this piece of fabric up so I could cut that strip of stabilizer out from behind the zipper. This piece of fabric has to be folded back down again. Okay, it has to come back down again, and I'm going to tape it here at the bottom. Your tendency is going to be to leave that fabric up, but it has to be brought back down again. That's the most important step of this entire design. So it's going to go back on the machine again, and it's going to stitch a couple little placement lines up here. And that's going to be, it's going to show us where we're going to be adding that back piece. And let me grab my back piece. Remember at the beginning, I told you how we had to do the flap. It has to be done in a different hooping. And you have to create this back piece. Right now it's stitching placement lines, so we know where to place this. So when we are going to place this, first you're going to put it on the table. You're going to turn it to the back side. I'm calling the side that you can see the quilting on, you can see the tabs on, the front side. When we place it, we're going to be placing it right side down. So this is the back side. You don't see any quilting or anything on this side. And it's almost got those placement lines done. It's just 4 tiny little lines. All right, you can hear the machine is done.
We have a question from Marcia. So there's so many types of batting. What do you use?
So here I can show you. I'm using a thin type of batting. What I'm really getting into now is using foam in my bag designs. On this one, I decided not to use the foam, but this is just kind of a thin batting. It's a Pellon, I think it's 988, but it's going to give you some body to the purse. I also, on the back side of my main fabrics, the main fabric being the front here, and my back piece, let me open it up here. I ironed SF 101 onto the back side of these pieces. SF 101 is, it's a single-sided fusible interfacing. It's not a stabilizer, it's an interfacing. And what that does is it gives this fabric just a little bit more body to it. And you're going to be able to see the difference, hopefully, in my sample that I showed at the beginning and this sample, because the sample I showed at the beginning, I didn't iron SF 101 onto it. Okay, so the placement lines. I know it's hard for you to see, so I'm just going to take this Frixion pin and I'm just going to darken them up. And the only reason I'm doing this, again, is for you to be able to see, because I know it's a little bit hard on the camera. I can see them, but I just wanted to darken them up for you to see them.
Yeah, so that answers Clarette's question, what type of pen are you using? So is that the friction marker or the pen?
This one is the pen.
Okay.
It's, you make these little marks on anything, that you're sewing or embroidering, touch it with an iron and they're gone. Like if I grab my iron here and you can see they're gone. You can see the stitching there, but that's not the pin. So it just kind of darkens it up. I wanted you to be able to see it. I see you can see those lines there. So again, this piece is going right side down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to match up this seam here with the horizontal lines, and I'm going to center the flap sides in between those vertical lines. So let me just get this laid down first so that I don't want to cover those lines. I'm still going to see them. You can still see them up there, but I don't want to cover them, like I said. And my flap, I can see here's the line here, and here it is here. So my flap is centered between those, and the seam is just below the horizontal. I'm going to take a pin, and I'm going to pin this in place. And one other thing I want to do, since we kind of got talking and I didn't do it yet, I'm going to unzip that zipper halfway. Had you not said that earlier, Barbara, I probably would.
I get a little nervous on when to open it because I've made the mistake of not opening it and finishing a whole bag and oopsies.
Yeah, because I got busy talking and
Definitely
I
a step.
forgot that. So
You don't want to forget, that's for sure.
right. Before I put this back piece on, just unzip that halfway, and you can just leave the little pull hanging there. So this is in place, and right now I'm pinning it, and there's a reason that I'm pinning it, because what I have to do is I'm going to reach underneath here. I'm going to take this flap, and the flap needs to get turned under. Okay. Let me just get it started here, and then I'm going to reach under and grab it. And, if I was doing this, if I had taped this down, if I had taped instead of putting the pins there, I probably would have just pulled it right off. So this flap needs to be turned under. And again, let me just make sure that I want to look underneath here. I want to make sure my tabs are just hanging down, that nothing is, gotten folded under or anything. I want to make sure that this is pulled down. Okay, so everything here looks good. The next step, I'm going to put it back onto the machine, and it's going to just stitch a line over here that's going to hold this back piece that I just pinned down on. It's going to stitch it on right here. So let me go ahead and get that done. Making sure the pieces on the back side, that pocket lining did not move or anything. I want to make sure this is nice and flat. Let it stitch that. And then we only have one more step to stitch. And then the bag is done. The sides are trimming and turning, but for the most part, then the bag is done.
We have a fun little conversation going on in the comments of who has or hasn't not yet forgotten to unzip the zipper.
It's happened to everyone.
Well, apparently Renee has not forgotten that step yet. So good job, Renee.
You may be the only one.
Yeah.
So the last step is to take your last piece of fabric and place it right side down and center it over the hoop. Now, of course, I'm going to pin this down because as you can see, we've got a bulk right here, okay, because our flap is turned under. The whole idea of the bag is when the piece is placed down and it stitches it together, that when it stitches along here, it does not catch this fold here. That's why you want to put it down just slightly below those horizontal lines. I'm going to take this pin out because I'm going to use it as one of my pins. I like to pin this in place only because, tape is kind of, it's a little bit iffy to hold this, especially over that bulk right there. I have to turn my hoop every which way to get pins in it. I am going to take those pins out underneath here. And let me just make sure everything is looking good. Make sure these sides are where they need to be. I'll push this down. I want this piece on top to be as flat as I can possibly get it. I am going to put a pin over here. Now, when this last step stitches, I'm going to be watching as it stitches, and I'm going to be watching my pins. Anytime you use pins to hold anything down, let me turn it this way, make it easier. That's great, but always watch your pins. So again, let me make sure this is all nice and flat. Get a couple of pins down here at the bottom, and I'll be good to go. The last step is going to stitch around. It's going to leave an opening here on the side for us to turn the back. If you want to, you can go into the settings of your machine, slow your machine down some, because we're really going to watch as it stitches up here and across and comes down a little bit. That's where we're really going to watch. And while, it's always doing this live is always a little crazy, I am going to use a chopstick here to just kind of watch everything. So it gets up here now, it's getting to a lot of bulk. And when it gets to that corner, I probably am going to stop my machine just to, make sure everything's going good. And this is what I want to show you. Here's that bulk where we fold it under the flap. It's going to stitch basically right behind there. And we want to make sure that when it stitches, it's not stitching, any of that flap down. So everything looks like it's going great. As you can tell, I did slow my machine down just a little bit. And you have to do that in the settings, okay? I'm going to get over here close to this pin. So when I get ready to make that corner, I am going to stop the machine and get that pin out. Getting close to that pin, so I'm going to go ahead and take it out. I do want to make sure that this bulk right here stays down. There we go. We got past that. I want all this fabric to stay nice and flat. And it's just going to come down this side, go across the bottom, and then up the other side a little bit. And then we're going to take it out of the hoop and turn it. Dee says you can't see the stitching. Well, back there, when it went back there, no, you couldn't, because the flap, that bulk of the flap was kind of in the way. And as it's coming towards you, you can't see it stitch because the stitching is behind. As soon as it makes this corner, you'll be able to see. See, here's the stitching from going down the side.
Candy says she always has the cutest designs and ideas. I agree. Reen, this is awesome.
Thank you, Candy. So it's almost done. It's just going to go up this other side just a little bit. And then we're going to pull it out of the hoop. Okay. So Lois asked about raising the foot. You can raise the foot. Sometimes if I'm using foam in a bag design, I will raise the foot. This one, I really didn't need to raise the foot because, again, I'm not stitching over this big bulk. I'm stitching behind it where it's still nice and flat back there. We just need to get this out of the way so it doesn't catch that flap. Otherwise, we wouldn't have that open top pocket that we're going to have. Let me pull it out of the hoop. I'm going to grab my scissors and I'm going to get ready here to trim it. So this is my opening. I always start at the opening because we're going to have to leave this opening fabric longer so that we have something to turn in. So I always like to make a cut on either side, just so I remember. And then I'm going to trim like a 1/4 inch all the way around. I'm going to clip those corners diagonally.
Oh, Reen, I have to do a shameless plug here because I see that you're using the Kai scissors. Am I right?
Love, love, love Kai scissors.
Also my favorite. I'm going to be adding that to the shop page. As well as the small scissors so that you guys can purchase those through AllBrands. They are phenomenal, made in Japan, Great
Yeah,
quality
and
scissors.
I love the curved tip. These are my go-to applique scissors. They're my go-to fine trimming scissors. I love them. Let me just go ahead and finish trimming this up. This bag is a little bit stiffer than my sample because I used that SF101. It really doesn't add a lot of bulk, but we've got some layers in this design, so it is going to make it a little bit firmer. Let me get rid of all of this. And then at the opening here, we only need these two pieces of fabric, this one and this one, that make the opening. Everything else behind it is bulk, so I can go ahead and, I got a pin stuck on there, go ahead and trim that away. It'll just make that seam be nicer. Let me get my turning tool. Barbara, you may have these turning tools. The RFK
Yes.
Precision turning tool, love that tool. So I'm sticking my hand inside the opening and I'm getting ready to turn it. I'm just going to grab like the bottom, one of the bottom corners, and push it through. Let me get top part through.
Renee asked, is it okay to trim the zipper off zipper end short, or leave a little length?
Right. On this one, you noticed I did just go ahead and trim a lot. Most of the time, I leave the zipper ends about a half of an inch long. I'm just trying to, save a little bit of time here on this design. So I just went ahead and cut them off. So as you can see, I've started getting it turned. I'm going to use my tool. I want to get these corners down here poked out really nicely. Let me get this other big end in there first. But you can work on your corners as much as you want. The more you get them poked out, the nicer your design looks in the end.
Hey, Reen, Carol asks, do you ever stitch these designs out or anything on balsa wood? I know we've done videos in the past.
Yeah, she's talking about the coaster that I did, I believe. Let me grab the coaster.
Oh, sorry, little rabbit hole.
Yeah, this is the one that I use the floral borders set on. You can see that it's nice, light, and airy, so it's perfect for the balsa wood. This I just made a little coaster out of. Put some felt on the back side and just made a little coaster out of it. Light and airy type designs are, best to use on balsa wood, or, it's called basswood also. So, okay, so I've got my corners done. There's my open top. We pull that flap out so you can see that. You're going to kind of want to, pull at these corners here and use your tool, get in there and get these top corners pushed out nicely. Oops, I don't know if you can see that. I'm just pushing out that top corner there. There's another top corner over here.
Here's another question. Are the bags washable if you use HTV for the flower applique?
Yes, you can wash anything with HTV on it. People put it on t-shirts and other shirts and all kinds of things. So yes, it's completely washable. I can use my hoop and press pad as just a little press pad by my machine too. After you get your corners all poked out, you're going to want to take that opening, and this is why I left that fabric longer there, and just turn it in. Get those edges matched up nicely. At this point, I do kind of like to press my bag a little bit. I'm a big presser. I press all throughout everything.
I think an iron is just as important as a sewing machine.
Oh yeah, I mean,
for sure.
The first thing I do when I come into my sewing room is turn my iron on every day. Iron
Mhm.
is the first thing I do. I turn it on.
It's the
Okay.
easiest way to level up in
Right.
sewing.
So I turned in this opening. You could hand stitch it. You could use fusible tape. You could close it up any way that you want. After you've closed that up, then you reach down inside the bag. And we're going to turn it one more time. I'm going to want to press those bottom corners out again, or push them out. Get the side out.
Oh my goodness, Reen.
And then of course you're going to want to use your tool. And, like I said, I'm not taking, the time that I should to push corners out, but you don't want to sit here and watch me push out corners.
Someone earlier asked if you were an engineer, but I want to know if you're a magician because it's amazing. It's so fun to watch.
Thing. So then, you just press it. Here's your zippered pocket. You can see down in there, it's all fully lined. You'd want to give it a good press. Here's your big open pocket at the top. And then all you're going to do, let me grab my sample here, is then install a snap at the center of the flap. You will want to open up your pocket and install whoops, I zipped it up. You're going to want to open your pocket up and install the snap, just through the pocket. So you can still access your pocket. And then all you have to do is add your strap onto your little tabs that you have. And you got a cute, cute little purse.
I agree. It's very cute. So remind us the name of it.
I'm calling it Monroe Purse.
Okay. And if they purchase from AllBrands, either the border or the floral set on the link of this video, for this week, they'll get that email to them.
Or any hoop and press pad, a single pad or a bundle. You will get the file. It is for a 6x10 hoop, and it will be emailed to you. Like I said, give me a little bit of time. It's not going to be instant as soon as you place your order with AllBrands, but you will get the purse file. Up until, what was the date, Barbara?
Friday, April 21st, 2023. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it so much. I have a few questions that we saved, but before I get through that, I go to those. Someone mentioned, Reen, your machine is so quiet, LOL. Let's talk a little bit about the machine that you have and that you use.
I'm using the Brother XP3. That's the Luminaire, the newest model that just came out. I actually got it at the Houston Quilt Festival from AllBrands.
Yay, thank you. So, and you also purchased your ScanNCut from us, so thank you so much, Reen.
Yeah, that was a few years ago. I got the ScanNCut. I was just so happy when I got that. I'm trying to think of what else. I purchased a lot of things from you, upgrades and, things like that. You carry, everything. So it's a great place to shop. But yeah, XP3, the brand new machine. And you have some deals with the machine, don't you? Some add-ons or something.
We do. You even get Reen kind of in the box right now. There's actually a $5,000 bundle that you get when you purchase the Brother XP3 Luminaire for a limited time. And there's a Embroidery Garden design pack. Is it 250 designs?
In my design pack, there are 800 files.
Wow, that's a lot. You also get you get Angela Wolf in the box with her master class. It's a virtual education program. There's a luggage set, software, and much more. It's a wonderful bundle. And right now, with allbrands.com at any of our 7 retail stores throughout Louisiana and Texas, you can combine that bundle with this financing offer. This is a 60 months, 0% financing through Synchrony, and it's only from April 7th through the 17th. So there's only 4 days left if you wanted to combine all of these specials to get this amazing machine. I have it, you have it. It's the best machine you can get for embroidery. It's phenomenal. So if you're interested in this machine, definitely take advantage of this finance special. If you're not ready for a Luminaire, it's on any Brother machine purchase over $4,000. So stop by one of our 7 retail store locations and take advantage of this awesome deal that we have going on Brother Embroidery machines. So
it is a fantastic machine. I'm just barely scratching the surface of what it can do.
It's crazy what it can do. And also, Reen, we're going to have this machine and several other machines will be at the Original Sewing and Quilting Expo May 4th, 5th, and 6th in New Orleans, Louisiana. This is a huge traveling national show. There'll be classes, displays, shopping, fashion, presentations. We'll have make it, take it's in our booth. We'll have amazing specials on all brands of machines that we're going to be representing at the show. So we'll be there with Bernina, we'll be there with Brother, we'll be there with Juki, and we'll be there with the Grace Company, who creates long arms. So we hope that you take this time to go ahead and register. Go to osque.com and register for that show, because shows are the way to go. There's the best way to meet people and get inspired and get good deals on sewing machines.
Oh yeah, I wish I was going.
Well, you're certainly invited if you're. Yeah. Okay, I have 4 more questions and then we'll do the giveaway. Is that okay?
Sounds great.
Okay, cool. Julie asks, can you use cork or faux leather with these designs?
Well, with the collections, the hand sketch florals, I showed you that you could use cork. With this particular bag design, I don't think I would use cork on it, just because I think it would be really hard to turn. There are some bag designs of mine that I, recommend you could use cork on, but this isn't one of them.
Cool. Oh my gosh, I'm seeing so many great comments. Everyone loves you. Mary says, Reen is so SEW. Got that. Clear and concise with instructions.
Thank you, Mary.
She's
I
so
kind of
sweet.
like my instructions as if someone is just a beginner, just don't know anything, it's just a beginner.
Debbie Ball says, your bags and instructions are the best. I have some designs from another designer, and instead of using them, won't mention them, I purchased one of your zip bags. Seriously, you are the best.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you.
Rhonda says, hey, Rhonda, I'm going to the show. Cannot wait. We're so excited.
She's going to have to show us everything that she buys.
Lots of stuff. So we'll have designs of machine embroidery there. We'll have OESD there. So that point and press tool that you showed. A lot of the products that you showed in this video are going to be there. Yeah. And I think that's it. Would you like to do a giveaway now?
Sure. Let's do it.
All right. So if you haven't yet, go ahead and comment #AllBrands and we'll pick a winner. And here we go. Our winner is Debbie Harrelson. Congratulations, Debbie. Please email me at events@allbrands.com with your name, number, and address to claim your $25 allbrands.com e-gift card, where you can check out on our website or any one of our 7 retail stores throughout Louisiana and Texas.
Congrats.
Yeah. And just a reminder, if you guys haven't yet, there's a link in the description of this video. We're doing a dime mega giveaway. Go ahead and register now. It will be announced in August. And just a reminder for the special for this video, for those of you tuning in.
You order either the hand sketch floral collection or the hand sketch floral borders collection, or any hoop and press pad, can be any single pad or any bundle, you will get the Monroe purse file for free. It will be emailed to you. So
yeah, and that expires on Friday, April 21st, 2023. So
get your orders in.
yay! I want to thank everyone for watching. You're amazing, Reen. Everyone watching. I love seeing new faces. I love seeing old faces. It's just such a pleasure. All right. Well, we will see you hopefully soon. But next week, it's going to be me and Courtney on the show together. So we're going to be talking about ScanNCut and applique. So yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Reen, so much.
Well, thanks for asking me to be here, Barbara. Thanks, everyone.